The Red Sox and the Twins prepare to go to it in this very big ball game. Zoilo Versailles will lead off playing short for the Twins. Cesar Tovar will be at third base, batting second. Harmon Killebrew will be at first. Tony Oliva in right. Bob Allison in left field. And the Red Sox take the field to the roar of this great crowd. Rod Carew will be at second base for Minnesota. Eulander will be in center. Zimmerman, the catcher, and caught on the mound as Jose Santiago goes out to the mound to get ready to. I talked with Jose before the ball game today. He said that he slept well last night. He feels good. He's rested. He pitched a pressure ball game against Baltimore last week to keep the Red Sox chances alive, and he's ready to pitch in this big game today. The Red Sox batting order will be Andrews, Adair, Yastrzemski, Harrelson, Scott, Petrocelli, Smith, Gibson, Santiago. Zoilo Versailles is batting .201, 6 homers, 50 runs batted in. Versailles, 26 years old. And here's the first pitch. Strike one. One ball, one strike. On deck, Cesar Tovar. Base hit to left. Yastrzemski juggles the ball. Versailles holds at first after taking a wide turn. Zoilo Versailles gets a leadoff single for Minnesota and brings to the plate Cesar Tovar, who has had quite a year with the ball club, batting .268, 6 homers, 47 runs batted in. He is playing in his 163rd game of the year today, tying the American League record for most games played in a season. Strike one. Tovar has been one of the top hitters for the Twins against Boston pitching this year. He's 17 for 51 at .333 with a double, triple, and 6 RBIs. Fouls it back out of play. Strike two. We have here today some 125 newspaper men from all over the country. In addition to the regular facilities, as you see Killebrew on deck, they are using the auxiliary football press box out in right field. All kinds of Western Union machines and telephones have been set up in the press room up and back on the roof. 1-2 to Tovar. Russ Gibson apparently did not spot that ball immediately, or if he did, he thought it was out of play. Scott made a long run down for it, but Gibson, who is excellent on catching foul pops, must have somehow lost it.
Well, Ken, at one time the ball was out of play, but the wind's blowing straight out to center field, and the wind pushed that ball back into playable territory. Russ Gibson was completely fooled by it. And I think that after first looking up at the ball, he took his eye off it and then completely lost
The count is 1-2. Two and 2 on Tovar. Coaching at third base, fiery Billy Martin of the Twins. And at first is Big Jim Lemon. Versailles can run. Reggie Smith is there. 1 out. Tovar flies to Smith. 1 out and 1 aboard. And now we begin to watch part of what will be a great personal duel this weekend, although knowing both men, it will not matter a great deal to either one. Harmon Killebrew of the Twins and Carl Yastrzemski of the Red Sox each have 43 home runs. Yastrzemski has 115 runs batted in. Killebrew has 111. 4 back of him. Over the last 8 years, this fellow has averaged just over 40 home runs a season.
You can see Jose Santiago motioning to his outfield. He's trying to get him to play straight away for Harmon Killebrew.
Ball 1. On deck now, Tony Oliva. Ball 2. Killebrew is the first man since Babe Ruth to lead the league 3 consecutive times in home runs. Three balls, no strikes. Ball 4, Killebrew gets a walk. Versailles will move over to second. So with runners at first and second and 1 down, here is the man coming to the plate now who is feared most, with all due respect to all the other performers on this club. When this man is hitting, he is a great, great hitter. Tony Oliva is batting .288 at the moment with 17 homers and 82 runs batted in after a very slow start this year in which he had several injuries of various types. Against Boston, he's 17 for 43 at .395. There's a base hit. Versailles will score on this one, and it is 1-0 Minnesota. Oliva banging a single to center field to score Versailles. Killebrew to second base, and the Twins jump into an early lead. Runners at first and second and 1 out. And right away, we're getting some stirring out in the Boston bullpen. Gary Bell has gone to work. Bob Allison is batting .257, 24 homers and 75 runs batted in. Base hit to left. Killebrew holding at third as Yastrzemski throws it into the plate. Bob Allison, with a clean single into left field, loads up the bases with 1 out here in the first, and the Twins ahead 1-0. And right here, Dick Williams is coming out. Versailles led off with a single to left. Tovar hit a high fly ball to Smith in center. Killebrew walked. Oliva hit the first pitch into center to score Versailles. Allison has singled, and the bases are full. And, of course, this is the point of no return for Boston. If they do not win today, there's no tomorrow. as far as their pennant aspirations are concerned. So it's going to be a day when Dick Williams will not take much time in making decisions regarding pitching.
Well, Ken, no doubt Jose Santiago is a little on the nervous side, and I'm sure that all other ball players out on the ball field are. Dick Williams, realizing this, wants to try and calm his pitcher down a little bit. Jose has been high with his pitches, and that certainly isn't the place that he wants to throw. He wants to get the ball down the lower part of the strike zone, but so far has been unable to do it. The pitch that Allison just hit was the hanging curveball. Oliva hit a high fastball. So now Dick Williams naturally wants to talk to his pitcher to get him to try and concentrate on the lower part of that strike zone where he can have better success.
Rod Carew is batting .296. Lines it to Adair. No chance at second because the ball was hit so quickly that Andrews was not able to get over to second base for the possibility of the double play on Oliva. So Carew is out on a line drive to third baseman Jerry Adair, and it brings to the plate the center fielder Ted Eulander, who is batting .256. He has 6 home runs, 49 runs batted in. Two out and 3 on. Strike one. Jerry Zimmerman is on deck. One ball, one strike. Two and one. Three and one. The Red Sox dugout. Pitching coach Sal Magley there in the foreground. 3 and 1 to Eulander. Andrews to Scott. The Twins in the first inning get a run on 3 base hits and leave 3 on. At third is Tovar. The left fielder is Bob Allison. Ted Eulander in center. Tony Oliva in right. Zimmerman is the catcher, and leading off is Mike Andrews. Jim Kaat shooting for a possibly unprecedented 8th victory in the month of September, all of them consecutive, which would tie Kaat with Camilo Pascual and Dave Boswell for the most consecutive wins by a Twins starting pitcher. Andrews is batting .262. Ball one. Mike has 8 home runs, 40 runs batted in. On deck, Adair. Foul back. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, Mel Parnell's been knocked out of the box before, but
almost
again. Then. Kaat is making his 4th start against Boston this year. Base hit. Eulander with the ball. Andrews lining a single into left field to lead off for Boston. Kaat is 1-0 against the Red Sox. He beat Jim Lonborg 2-1 on the 26th of June, with Al Worthington getting a save. The batter, Jerry Adair, is at .264 on the year. 3 homers, 36 runs batted in. Twins lead 1-0. This is the last of the first. Ball 1. There was considerable kidding in both dugouts before the game, which is always a sign of tension. Here's one of the fellows who is kidding some, Carl Yastrzemski. Foul is out of play, and it's 1-1 on Adair. Another foul back. And it's 1-2 now on Jerry. Coaching at third base is Eddie Popowski. And at first is Bobby Dorr. Carew tags Andrews and then throws to first for the double play. Adair into a double play. And there are 2 men out in the last of the first. The Twins lead 1-0. And Carl Yastrzemski is up. 43 homers to tie Killebrew for the lead in that department. 115 runs batted in to lead the league there, and an average of .319 to lead the league there. Strike 1. Line drive, base hit into the corner. Yaz takes the turn and holds at first base. Yastrzemski with a sharp single into right field, fielded by Oliva. With the heavy rain that we had in Boston last night, there is a little bit of a problem as far as the outfield is concerned. It is soggy in spots. Ken Harrelson is batting .260. He has 12 homers, has driven in 52 runs. Two out, Yastrzemski on first, 1-0 Twins. Strike 1. George Scott is on deck. Ball 1-1. Kaat is 6'4", 225. He pitched 305 innings last year to lead the American League. One and two to Harrelson. Foul back. Still another. 1-2 the count. Got him with a curveball. Kaat strikes out Harrelson, and that is it in the first inning for the Red Sox. This is Jose Santiago. Zimmerman at 170 with 1 homer and 12 runs batted in. Strike one. On deck is Jim Kaat. 1-1. George Scott takes it. 1 out in the second. Jim Kaat is a good hitter. His average this year is 173, and he has 1 home run and 4 runs batted in. But other pitchers know that he's liable to beat you at the plate anytime. He's had at least 1 home run every year except 1 while he's been with the Twins. Last year he had 2 homers and 13 runs batted in. Andrews gets an easy hop and gets him. 2 out in the second. There's one thing about today. If Santiago and Kaat both work all the way, we're going to know reasonably soon, because both of them are fast workers. Although Kaat was working just a little bit slower than usual, as was Santiago in the first inning, because both of them had early trouble. Versailles had a single to left field his first time. His average at 202. Ball 1. Now the California-Detroit game, where it's been raining all day, is underway. The first game of a doubleheader, and at the end of 1, the Tigers lead 2-0. 1-1. Detroit 2, California nothing after 1. 2-1. Ball is out of play. 2-2 on Versailles. Twins ahead 1-0 in the second with 2 out and nobody on. Petrocelli to Scott. The Twins go in order in the second. No runs, no hits, and nobody left. After 1.5, Minnesota 1. In that California and Detroit game, it is Lolich against Brunette, and the Tiger lead in the first inning came on a Willie Horton 2-run homer. 2-0 Tigers after 1. Scott is batting .300, facing left-hander Jim Kaat. Strike 1. George, against the Twins this year, is batting .270 with 10 hits and 37 at-bats. shot rips a single into center. Runner at first, nobody out, second inning. The batter is Rico Petrocelli. Yesterday, Rico was awarded the Underrated Player Award by the Bo Sox Club here in Boston. His average at .260, 17 homers, 65 runs batted in, .222 against the Twins. Strike one. Reggie Smith is on deck. High pop fly ball. Oliva's coming in, and he makes the catch. Petrocelli flies to Oliva. One out and one on.
Well, Kenny, that fly ball gave everybody a few anxious moments. It appeared as though Tony Oliva would lose the fly of the ball. He slipped as he started the break. This outfield is very slick. There's a lot of water standing in it. You will see the ball going into the outfield die quickly on the ground as the water will slow it down. And outfielders, I'm sure, will have a lot of trouble trying to maintain a proper footing at all times.
Reggie Smith is batting .251, 15 homers, 61 runs batted in. Foul ball. Kaat has been leading off a lot of the right-hand batters with curveballs, and Reggie just ripped that one past Tovar. One strike. Foul back. 2 strikes, the count on Smith. One and two. Smith was once the property of the Minnesota Twins. Foul tipped into the mid of Zimmerman, and Smith is out. The second strikeout for Kaat, 2 men out. His control is always good. He walked only 56 men all last year, which is a ratio of 1 in every 5 2/3 innings. Russ Gibson at the plate is batting .207. He has 1 home run, 14 runs batted in. Ball one. Jose Santiago on deck. Ball two. Gibson looking down to third base coach Eddie Popowski. Strike call, 2-1. It is now Tigers 2, California nothing at the end of 2 in the first game of their big doubleheader today. Two and two to Gibson.
Well, that fastball was a little high to Russ Gibson, but Russ had one thing in mind. If he could have been able to get the good part of the bat to it and get it up in the air, the wind could do the rest for him and get it out of the ballpark, put the Red Sox ahead. You'll see many batters go for the pitch up around the shoulders.
Strike 3 called as he hit the outside corner of the plate, and the Red Sox are down in the second. No run. But Carew lined to third, and Eulander grounded to second. Now we go to the third, and Tovar takes a call strike. Tovar batting .268. Strike two. Foul ball out of play. Word from Detroit now is that Eddie Matthews has driven in a run. The Tigers are leading 3-0 in the last half of the third.
Kenny, this fellow at the plate has a chance to break an American League record tomorrow if he plays in tomorrow's game.
1-2.
He will have played in 164 games in this 1967 season. Although the schedule runs 162 games, the Twins have had 2 ties, and the games have had to be replayed. Tovar has played in all of them, so he will set a new record by just getting in tomorrow's game, whether it's as a batter, pinch runner, or any type. So this fellow has one big thing looking forward to him tomorrow, to get his name in the book.
Well, he's a great little ball player, Mel. He certainly has helped this club in a lot of ways, in a lot of positions. George Scott has it. 1 out in the third as Tovar pops up to the first baseman, Scott. The Twins lead 1-0. The batter is Killebrew. Harmon had a walk in the first inning. Well, after all that rain yesterday and last night, we thought we'd get more today, and it's just turned out to be beautiful. Ball one. Yastrzemski back against the wall. It's off the wall, and into second base goes Killebrew. We had to wait on that one, and Carl did too, because Harmon hit it way up in the air, and he winds up at second with a double, with 1 out in the third. Oliva, the last time, jumped on the first pitch and lined a single into center field to drive home the only run of this game. Now, with 1 out in the third inning, he has Killebrew on second. His average at .289. Gary Bell has started to warm up again in the bullpen. He was up in the first inning. Ball one. Oliva's a very difficult man to defense because he hits the ball to all fields with authority. Foul tip to the mid of Gibson, 1-1. Oliva earlier this month set a club record by getting 9 hits in a row, 3 hits shy of the major league record for consecutive hits, and Bill Dillman of Baltimore stopped him finally in a series in which he collected a fantastic total. I forget the exact amount, but he got something like 15 out of 17 all told. Two and one.
Well, when Tony first came into the major leagues, the pitchers tried to work him outside with real hard stuff, and the defense swung him toward left field, making him hit that way. But after all the pitchers started pitching in that manner, this fellow developed into a good outside hitter. And now they're pitching him inside and moving around on him, and now he's a good hitter to off field. So he's one of the best in the game and handles the bat very well, Ken. A very hard fellow to pitch to, and the defense.
Good sharp breaking stuff down, 2-2. Detroit is now leading California 4-0, and they're still up in the third. There is Cal Irmer, the manager of the Minnesota Twins. Right alongside him in the first row of boxes is Calvin Griffith, the president of the Minnesota club. Two and two. Foul ball out of play. Count still 2 balls, 2 strikes. There is 1 out in the 3rd inning. Harmon Killebrew is the runner you see on second. The Twins have a 1-0 lead. It is now Detroit 4, California nothing at the end of 3. The Tigers have been retired in the 3rd. Foul ball. Harmon Killebrew going back over to second base. Oliva is only 25 years old. He's won 2 batting championships in a row in 1964 and 65. Big strikeout. The first one for Santiago. There are 2 men out. That's the 60th time this year that Oliva has K'd, and the batter is Allison. Bob had a single to left field in the 1st inning. His average, 259. Foul back upstairs. Last year, Allison batted .220, so he's come along strong, picking up almost 40 points this year. He has, of course, played more this year, too. Two strikes. Twins have a 1-0 lead. 2 out, a runner on second. We're in the 3rd. Check swing, foul ball. Jim Lonborg was the man who fielded that one. He's charting the game down there on the far end of the Red Sox dugout. One and two. Pitch had him fooled, but was a little bit too close to him.
Well, it was a good choice of pitches for Jose Santiago to use the Allison. His second pitch to Allison was the same pitch off the side, but the breaking ball. So this time he went with a fastball, moving it in on Bob Allison, and that had him fooled. The only thing was off the plate.
He's out with a runner at second and 1 out in the 3rd. Jose Santiago strikes out Oliva and Allison. Mel had seen him in the minor leagues and had said go after that first pitch, that first fastball, and Jose did, and it paid off for him. Ball one. Jim Kaat pitching. One ball, one strike. You know, the do-it-yourself hobby can be a lot of fun, but not when it comes to cleaning your own windshield. And that's why Atlantic Red Ball dealers always clean the windshield without being asked, and they do it for every customer every time. 1-2. Kaat this year has come on strong over the second half. At one point, his record was 2-9. Two balls, two strikes.
He was raised in Roxbury, and he graduated from English High, but he went to school.
3-2. The two twin pitchers scheduled in this series, Kaat and Chance, have a few things in common. They both won 20 or more in a single season and have both earned title Pitcher of the Year in the American League. So has Jim Grant of their staff. Still 3-2 on Jose. Santiago battling Kaat. Strike three. That is the fourth strikeout for Jim Kaat in this ball game. With one out in the third and nobody on, and the Twins ahead 1-0. The batter is Mike Andrews. Mike had a single to left field in the first inning. The catcher, Jerry Zimmerman, has a conference at the mound with Jim Kaat. Andrews batting .263. Plate umpire Jim Honachek was out to the mound. And Kaat is going to take a couple of warm-up throws, which would indicate that maybe something's bothering Jim, Mel.
Yes, it appears that something has gone wrong. He may have hurt himself on one of his pitches, and as he's taking these two warm-up throws, seems to be gritting his teeth, and that certainly isn't a good indication from the Twins' standpoint. He's a fierce competitor, Ken. This fellow is one of the real battlers on the mound, and the ball players in the American League will tell you that Jim Kaat doesn't beat himself. You have to go out and beat this fellow.
Well, he was hit by a ball, Mel, in his last start in one of the games that was carried here on radio. And this looks more like it might be up. He got hit on the hand, as I remember, and this looks more like it might be elbow trouble just from the way he's throwing.
Well, I noticed a little funny reaction by Jim Kaat on the 2-2 pitch to Jose Santiago, Ken, and it's quite possible that something could have happened on that pitch. He made some funny movements after turning the ball loose as though something was bothering him, something hurt him. He could have pulled his arm. You notice just then he kind of tilted that left shoulder, and he's trying to loosen his arm some. So he must be bothered by something.
Well, you could see him grit his teeth right after that one. Ball one. Ball two. And now Cal Irmer's coming out. In this particular situation, because the first time he came out, Jim Honachek more or less brought him out, I don't think it's automatic that the pitcher would have to come out. In any case, Jim Perry has started to warm up in the bullpen, and the trainer, George Lentz, is out there along with Cal Irmer. And there is Perry warming up. You know, if a manager, of course, goes to the mound twice in an inning, the pitcher automatically comes out, and they're going to make the change in this case, as obviously something has come up to bother Jim Kaat, and it looks like it's his elbow. So he leaves after going 2 1/3 innings. He has allowed 3 hits and no runs. He cannot be the pitcher of record in this ball game because he did not go 5 innings. So the Twins left-hander is leaving. And coming on now to pitch is Jim Perry.
Well, Jim Perry is a tall right-hander.
Ball 4. That walk is charged to Jim Kaat, as the count was 2-0 when Perry came on. And that would be the only walk charged to Kaat. So with 1 out and 1 on now in the third, and the Sox down 1-0. The batter is Adair, who grounded into a double play in the first inning, batting .263. Foul ball, back out of play. And we're getting action once more in the Minnesota bullpen now. Right-hander Ron Kline is loosening up. Adair taking a good look at ball 1. 1-1. Foul ball out of play. There is Yastrzemski watching intently from the on-deck circle. Two and two. Throw to first base. Good grab by Killebrew. Adair is out, but Andrews, who is off with a pitch, goes to second. So with 2 men out, And a runner at second, Carl Yastrzemski, comes up. Against Kaat in the first inning, he lined a savage single into right. His average is .320. Ball one. Ball two. Wow. 2-1.
Carl was looking for the long one there. He swung a little too hard at that one, and in doing so, he jerked his head and it took his eye off the ball. That pitch probably looked real big to him, Ken. It was right through the middle of the plate, and realizing that that wind's blowing out, he was going for the long one.
Foul ball is out of play. The count to Yastrzemski is 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 out. Mike Andrews is the runner at second. The Twins have a 1-0 lead, and we're in the last half of inning 3. Three and two. Strike 3. Jim Perry gets him. And the Red Sox are out in the 3rd inning. No runs.
Twins ahead, 1-0. Only have one more hit than the Red Sox. Carew lined out to Adair in the 1st inning. That's to Scott. They just get him. Boy, that wasn't long before Carew, who was really pedaling down that line, almost beat that throw. I don't believe Santiago realized he was that close. Here's Ted Eulander, the center fielder, who grounded out his first time, hitting .255. That's out of play. While it's out of play, why don't you light up a White Owl, bringing you baseball here. White Owl Cigars, your host. 1 out, 1 strike. Well hit toward right center, but room for Harrelson. And he boots it. It gets by him, chased down there by Smith. And into third base goes Eulander, streaking in. And we'll wait to see the scoring on that. It appeared that Harrelson had it. He crisscrossed with Smith, who may have been shaken up a little on that play. Smitty slow to get back to his position. It goes as a triple. Harrelson was right there, and all of a sudden, the ball went by him. As Smith came on, it might have been, Mel, that Harrelson heard Smith coming and shied away at the last moment.
Yes, it seemed as though he did shy away a little bit, Ned, and the ball hit Reggie up somewhere around the throat, or either on the face or just below the neck a little bit. And, he shook it off, and he's back out in center field. The Twin bullpen jumped up quickly to see how badly he was hurt. But Reggie wants to play. He's battling it all away. He stays right in there.
Count ball 1 to Zimmerman. Jerry Zimmerman up. Now the Red Sox have the infield in, as you see. 1 out and a runner at third. And this is the man that Santiago wants to strike out or have keep the ball in the infield. Ball 2. Zimmerman popped to first base in the second inning. 1-0 Minnesota. They're threatening for another one. Ball 3. 3-0 to Zimmerman. And the pitcher up next. Santiago has fanned a couple. He struck out 2 in the third inning. Now he's in trouble. Gets his strike right in there. 3-1. Trouble not entirely of his own making. There was a fly ball that was playable, but apparently got into the sun. Got past Harrelson's glove and hit Reggie Smith. Strike 2. Comes right back in there, and now it's a full count.
For Santiago, his third of the game, and they have all come in key positions. Now with 2 outs and a runner at third, and the Twins ahead 1-0, Jim Perry comes up. When Perry first came to the majors, he was a very poor hitter. Now he is not a bad hitter, and he hits the ball a lot to left, particularly down into the left field corner. Runner coming down the line at third a long way. The pitch is in for a ball to Perry, as Eulander was bluffing strongly.
Trying to rattle Santiago.
Yes, and he's a fellow you have to watch closely, Ned. He's a good base runner, very quick. And this fellow wears a size 14 shoe, but has a lot of speed with those feet.
1 ball, 1 strike.
That's a lot of foot, isn't it?
How in the world can you get a lot of speed with a foot that big?
Well, he has it. Believe me, it's unbelievable. This fellow runs very good.
Could use it, I suppose, on the canoe as a paddle. He does run well. He's fast. You can go get him in the outfield with those 14s. 2-1. Minnesota leading 1-0. 4th inning. The game. Fly to center. Reggie back. That's it. Not too far from the center field fence.
So here we're ready to start the bottom of the 4th inning, and Kenny Harrelson's at the plate. Ned Martin comes back to tell you about it.
All right, thanks, Mel. Harrelson called out on strikes his first time up. Strike one from Jim Perry. Kenny is hitting .259 at this point. He'll be followed by George Scott and Rico Petrocelli. Minnesota has a 1-0 lead. They got it in the first inning. Bye, everybody. 1 ball, 1 strike. Twins got 3 hits in that first inning, a single, then an out, then a walk and a single by Tony Oliva. Oliva's single drove in the run. Ball 2. Perry on in relief of starter Jim Kaat, who was forced to leave, and something popped in his elbow as he pitched to Santiago in the 3rd inning. Out of play. 2-2. To right field, it is curving, and it is foul. Toward the pole, but deep into the crowd there, and the count is 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. Here it comes. Thanks a lot. Well, that almost wiped out the whole crew right there.
I thought that was one I was going to swallow. Had to get away from that one.
What are you grabbing me for, though?
Just trying to make room.
Well, we almost had it, boy. That would have made history. Ken would have had to do a simulcast after that one. There is strike 3 to Harrelson, and Jim Perry picks up his 2nd strikeout. The Red Sox batters have fanned 6 times so far. Kaat got 4 of them. George Scott up. George grounded a single to center field in the 2nd inning, and he's batting .301. Halftime score in college football: Southern Cal 14, Michigan State 17 at the half. Fastball that time. One and nothing. Well, that ball really did come up here.
Yes, we're working from a new position here in the TV booth, and Ned, I think I prefer the other.
I think so.
This is Line Drive Alley right here.
All right. Scott taking a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Minnesota has 1 run, 5 hits. The Red Sox, no runs, 3 hits. There is Carew playing just right for Scott that time. Back on the grass and behind second base. They're playing Scott more up the middle these days, and that takes care of George for the 2nd out. 2 away. Petrocelli up. Rico flied to right in the 2nd. He's 2 for 8 against Perry this year. Overall, he's hitting .260 on the season at this point. Here it comes again. That took care of our floor man. I don't know, these fellows, we've been with them all year. We traveled with them and broadcast their games, and they zero us in at the last minute. Boy, that was hit close. Count at 1 strike on Petrocelli. Just missing outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's a foul ball. Tovar playing it anyway, just in case. Rico will come back, and the count will be 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, tomorrow's starters have been named: Jim Lonborg for the Red Sox, Dean Chance for the Twins. One and two. We're told the Tigers have added another run against California, leading 5-0. 4th inning, I imagine. Foul ball, playable. Killebrew after it. That's all, and Jim Perry has retired 5 batters in a row since coming in. And grounded out. He has scored the only run of the game. Right now hitting at .202. Strike. Ball. 1-1. And the count is 2 balls, 1 strike now to Versailles. Most valuable player in the American League in '65. He hit .249 last year, so he has dropped nearly 50 points in his average this season. 2-2. Got him. Foul tip held by Gibson, and Santiago picks up a strikeout, his 4th. 1 away in the 5th. Tovar up. He is flied to center and popped to first. Tovar batting .267 and a strong .267. Adair to Scott. 2 away. Funny little hop that Jerry took on that grounder. Thought it was going to hop higher, I believe. It came right to him. Well, here's the Brew again. Harmon Killebrew has walked and hit a high double off the wall. It was a fly ball that just went over Yastrzemski's head. Harmon is hitting .266. Ball 1. Curves him outside, ball 2. 2-0. Oliva's on deck. Minnesota 1, Boston 0, top of the 5th. Over but high, ball 3. So now he's behind to Killebrew, 3-0. Strike curved him 3-0.
Yes, they did, and it's a good thing he did, Ned, because Harmon Killebrew had the hit sign. He was going for it if he would have gotten a fastball, but getting the curveball, he had to take the pitch.
Has a good rip, and it's now 3-2. Santiago has been effective this afternoon with that sidearm pitch. Either the curve breaking away or a sidearm fastball that would tail in. Count is 3-2 to Killebrew with 2 out. Got him. Hey, look at Killebrew beeping. He hardly ever talks to an umpire, but he is really mad about that one. He is out of there, and Santiago has a strong 1-2-3 inning. Struck out batting right-handed against Kaat. Now he's left-handed against Perry. Out of play, strike 1. Smith right now is hitting .250 on the season. Reggie playing against a team that he originally signed with, the Twins organization. One ball, one strike. Perry has had a fine lifetime mark against Boston teams. 21 wins, 9 losses against the Red Sox over his career. Count is 1 ball, 2 strikes. He's beaten them once this year, lost to them twice. But generally has been very effective against Boston. Smith is 1 for 8 against him this season. Well hit to left center. That's going to be in there. Extra bases picked up by Eulander. Double for Reggie. So for the first time really in this ball game, this big crowd has come alive. They've been waiting to explode all afternoon. And now the Red Sox have a runner at second with nobody out and Russ Gibson up. Gibson going back toward the dugout. And Dalton Jones is going to bat for him. Here he comes. Kid from the Bayou country who's been the best pinch hitter on this ball club for 2 or 3 years. As Dick Williams, knowing this is the game, realizing you got to win it, is not going to stay too long with too many people. Jones coming up right now.
Well, there's a good percentage move going with the left-hand batter at this time because manager Dick Williams wants Dalton Jones to pull the ball toward right field. In the event he should hit a ground ball to the right side, Reggie Smith could then move over to third base and would be in position to score on a fly ball.
Dalton Jones on the year, hitting .279. 3 home runs, 25 runs batted in. And against Perry, Jones is 1 for 2 this season. That'll get the runner over, and it's a bad hop. Safe. It goes as a base hit for Jones. A bad hopper to Carew, as you saw. And Jones running hard down the line, beats it out for a hit. sending the runner to third, and Cal Irmer coming out from the dugout. Here is Irmer coming out to talk to Perry. They've got double-barreled action in the Twins bullpen.
Well, Ned, on that play, the cat-like actions of Rod Carew certainly saved a run there, because that ball came up high over his right shoulder, and quickly he got his bare hand up to stop the ball. If the ball continues on over his shoulder and goes into short center field, Reggie Smith would have been able to score easily.
Well, he got it in a hurry, and he almost got his man at first, but Jones kept hustling down the line and beat it out. So now runners are at first and third, nobody out, and Santiago at the plate. And now let's see what kind of play they put on.
Well, I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see a sacrifice here, trying to get that runner in from third base and trying to move the runner at first base up in the scoring position at second. If Santiago could push one to the good side of the field, which in this case would be toward first base, it could be a very big play.
Ball one. He was not squaring to bunt that time. He had the take on. There, the left-hander is Jim Merritt to his left, and the right-hander is Ron Kline, working for Minnesota. Bullpen activity as the Red Sox have their first real threat of the afternoon. They trail 1-0. Fifth inning. Ball two. So now the count is 2-0 to Santiago. Smith is at third and Jones at first. Strike one. Boy, he had the big rip that time, and he was going for the base hit. The Twins infield playing at double play depth. They're not looking for the bunt so much. They have Tovar ready at third, but he's not charging. They're hoping for a ground ball that would give them a double play. They'd concede the run, unless the ball was hit sharply to third. Strike two. 2-2. Minnesota leading 1-0. Perry trying to pitch his way out of a jam in the fifth. Mike Andrews is on deck. Strike three. He's out of there. Big strikeout for Perry. That's his third. And now it's Mike Andrews, who has singled to left center and walked. That was against Kaat. The walk, he was 2-0 when Kaat left with a bad arm, and Perry came in through ball three and ball four. The walk charged to Kaat. Mike is hitting .263, going 1-for-1 today. And he has a shot to tie up this ball game or send the Red Sox ahead. One away. Runners at first and third. Hold close. Strike. Ball one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Boy, this has been a tingler. 1-0 Minnesota. How many moves in this game? How many pitches? How many balls and strikes and hits will be rehashed time and time again this winter in at least 2 cities? Out of play. And now it is 1 ball, 2 strikes. Each team has 5 hits in the game. The Twins have 1 run. It's the kind of game you want it to be down on a do-or-die basis. It's the kind of game that you'd like to see in the playoff or in a World Series. Close. Tough. Strike 3 call, and again, Perry threads the needle on that outside corner, and for the second time gets a Red Sox batter with a bat on his shoulder. 2 down now, and it's up to Adair. Jerry twice has grounded into the infield, once into a double play. Well, here's been Mr. Clutch for quite a few times this year. This is the 5th inning, but the Red Sox have their biggest chance. Runners at first and third. Adair hitting .262. That's going to be looping out there, in there for a base hit. Ties up the ball game. 1-1. And the Big A has done it again. A little handle hit into shallow center to drive in the tying run with 2 out in the 5th inning. Tovar, or Carew rather, started for that, and he fell. I don't know if you caught it, but he fell trying to get back to it. He was going to try to overrun it. He was kicking the dirt just now out there as if he thought he might have had that if he had not slipped on the skin part of the infield. But it goes as a base hit, an RBI, and here's Yastrzemski. Hitting .319, he's 1 for 2 today. Score tied, 1-1, runners at first and third. That's Jones down there at third. Foul, strike 1. So that toe hit from Oklahoma figures in another score for the Red Sox. Adair at first. Jones got over to third, running with 2 out. And it is 1 ball, 1 strike to Yastrzemski. Perry pitching to Yaz. Ball 2. 2-1. Well, a game that a lot of the writers play every once in a while. Who would you rather be? Jim Perry or Carl Yastrzemski right now?
Well, they both have their hands full at the moment.
Big cut. The count is 2-2 to Carl. As he has said in the past, the last couple of weeks, every time he's gone up, he's gone for the big one, the home run.
Well, Jim Perry has gotten away with the high pitch to Carl so far. However, if Carl catches hold of one, he'll never get it back. That's the one Carl likes, and that's the one he gets his long ball on, and he can easily hit it into the center field seats if he gets hold of one of those high pitches.
He's had 2 home runs against Perry this year. Time call. And out at first base, there's Bobby Dorr talking to the base runner Adair. Now, at the pitcher's mound, Jerry Zimmerman wants a word with Perry. Kind of concerned now.
Yes, I think he suspects something here as Jerry Adair walked over to talk to Bobby Dorr. Zimmerman may be looking for the double steal now, and he just wants to check with his pitcher and remind him that he will probably throw back to the pitcher if the runner should break.
And, of course, it could be a decoy by Dorr, faking the call on a double steal to shake him up a little bit. We'll see. Ball 3. 3-2. Very difficult to reason why you'd want a double steal, though, with Yastrzemski up. At third base is Dalton Jones. And at first base, Jerry Adair, held by Killebrew. It's full now to number 8. 3-2 to Yastrzemski. That's nice stop by Carew. No play. A run scores. It's 2-1. An infield hit for Carl Yastrzemski and a run batted in, his 116th. And there's the Twin bench. A little bit dejected after that one. Carl's 116th RBI. He brings his average to 321. There was a fine play by Carew, but nobody was covering first.
And Ned, you mentioned earlier that many plays in this game will be rehashed for a long time. And there's one. That pitcher will be talking about this for a long time because he failed to cover first base.
There's Harrelson up, taking ball 1. It's 2-1 Red Sox in the 5th inning. Kenny Harrelson has struck out twice this afternoon. Well, Carew made the play. He looked to the base, and nobody was there. Killebrew, of course, was called off the bag, going after that ground ball, and Perry did not cover. Ball 2, 2-0. Cal Ermer, Twin manager, deep in thought right now. Red Sox are gone into the lead for the first time today. Strike. 2-1. Adair at second. Perry has given up 2 infield hits in this inning, along with a single to center by Adair, a looper. The only really solid shot was the double by Reggie Smith. Strike 2. 2-2 to Harrelson. Adair at second base, Yastrzemski at first, 2 out. Foul. And Nestor Shylock a little bit perturbed on that one. I think he had a lot of people perturbed on it. He was waving his hands, as you saw, and finally got it in foul ground.
And Nestor seemed to be a little excited on that play. He started jumping around before giving his sign.
Well, it goes as a foul ball, and it's 2-2. Looked like a college cheerleader about to give the 3 cheers and a locomotive. 2-2 to Harrelson. 2 out, 2 on. Red Sox 2, the Minnesota 1 in the 5th inning. Here it comes again. There we go. Feel like you're hitting the beach up here. All you got to do, Melvin, is just dig a little bit. The count is 2 balls, 2 strikes. Very high and in foul. Tovar under it. That's it. And that's all for the Red Sox in the 5th, but they'll take the field to the cheers of this big crowd. The top of the sixth at Fenway Park. Boston leading 2-1. Oliva's hitting .289. Ball one. Tony would like Jim Honachik to look at the ball again. He's done that a couple of times today. It's all right, says Honachik. 28 is left-hander Sparky Lyle. 39 is right-hander Gary Bell. Lyle able to pitch again after having a pulled muscle in his arm, which kept him out 4 or 5 days. Two and nothing. Dick Williams was asked yesterday whether Ken Brett, the young left-hander who looked so good here against Cleveland the other day, would be used in this series, and Williams said he'd prefer to go with the experience from the left side, meaning, of course, Lyle, who's done a fine job for half a year. Foul, and Adair going for it. Oliva is out. The last 2 times up, they have jammed Oliva, and they got him on strikes in the third, Santiago did, and he this time fouling out to Adair. Bob Allison up, singled and struck out, hitting .259. Ball one. Red Sox went ahead with 2 in the 5th. Double by Smith, an infield hit by Jones, took a bad hop. Single by Adair, looped into center for 1 run. And Yastrzemski's infield hit taken nicely by Carew, but Perry wasn't covering first for the other. 2-0. That's the first pitch that Allison has gotten inside, and it was bad enough to be ball 3. He didn't want to make it too good on the inner half of the plate. There's a strike. 3-1. Detroit leading the Angels still 5-0 in the 5th inning in their first game. Allison's on with the second walk given up by Santiago this afternoon. The other one was to Killebrew in the first inning. So the Twins have the tying run on with 1 out. Rod Carew at the plate. He has lined to third and grounded to first. Hitting .295. And also a very prime contender for Rookie of the Year honors in the American League. Ball 1. Foul. It's a big puddle down that right field line that they weren't able to get all the water off. And on a couple of shots to right field early in the ball game, here's that puddle along the line, which is mostly in foul ground, but some in fair. And the grass in right is very heavy. A couple of those hits splashed in there in the early innings. Good pitch. 1-2. The California Angels did not score in the top of the 6th inning. They still trail Detroit 5-0. Count 2-2 to Rod Carew. Robert Service. Red Sox dugout. There's the Vice President Humphrey to this side. He's having a time. He's rooting for the Twins, of course. There's Ted Kennedy next to him, Senator Edward Kennedy. Got him. Strike 3 to Rod Carew. 2 away. Carew wasn't exactly entranced by that call by plate umpire Honachek. Looked at him, said a few things. Six strikeouts now for Santiago, facing Eulander with a runner at first. Ball 1. Ted Eulander has grounded out and tripled, hitting .257 now. Base hit, past Petroselli. Eulander has his second hit. So runners are now at first and second. Zimmerman is due up. But I believe Rich Reese, left-handed hitting first baseman, is going to bat for him. Reese is a .232 hitter. There he is now. Very flashy fielding first baseman. He has 4 homers and 19 runs batted in this year. And a couple of his home runs have won ball games for the Twins in the 9th inning. Reese will bat for Zimmerman as Cal Irmer goes to the bench for the first time. Here is Dick Williams coming out to talk to Santiago. So time is out all over the place. Bob Allison even has taken time to leave the field and go to the dugout. Williams talking with Howard and Santiago. John Wyatt had been out replacing Sparky Lyle for a while, but Lyle is back. We'll pause here for station identification right now. This is Red Sox baseball. Back at Fenway Park, Rich Reese is batting for Zimmerman with runners at first and second for the Twins in the 6th inning. Red Sox leading 2-1. Dave Boswell and Ron Kline are in the bullpen for Minnesota. Ball 1. No advance.
Well, Sparky Lyle had been warming up in the bullpen, but apparently his elbow is bothering him. He's gone to the bench, and now left-hander Kimmel Brett is up throwing along with Gary Bell.
And there are the bullpen relief crew, Boswell and Kline, you just saw. Well, maybe Brett will get a shot. There he is, the young left-hander, number 36, Ken Brett, who was really flogging them in the other afternoon against Cleveland in his major league debut. And he was a very happy young fellow. The other day we saw him in that loose workout they held here, and he very happy about it, very excited. On deck, Jim Perry. Here's the batter, Reese, facing Santiago. And that makes it 1 ball, 1 strike. Boston 2, Minnesota 1, 6th inning. World Series atmosphere, both teams hoping to get a little more of it. Strike 2. Got him on a breaking pitch that time. It count is 1 ball, 2 strikes now. Allison there at second base represents the tying run. And that makes it 2-2. Reese, the pinch hitter. Allison at second. Eulander over at first base. Ball 3. Full count now. 3-2. The runners will be moving with 2 out. Santiago in another, well, he's in, has been in jams before. He got 2 out with a runner at third in the 4th inning. Eulander was over there with 1 away, and then he got the next 2 men. Pitched out of trouble in the 3rd and gave up only 1 run, although the Twins loaded the bases in the 1st. Here they go. And it's in the hole to left. This will tie the ball game up. And the throw goes into second as the pinch hitter, Rich Reese, slams one, almost hitting the runner Allison, moving to third. It was very close to Bob Allison. A big clutch hit by Rich Reese, singling home the tying run. It's brand new again, 2-2. Frank Castro, or Andy Costco, rather, will bat. Or is it Castro? They've got both. It is Frank Castro, who plays infield and outfield, used to be with the Tiger organization. And he is going to bat now for pitcher Jim Perry. Another man off the bench for the Twins, Castro. He's hitting .333, no homers, 2 runs batted in. He was recalled from the minors. This is just the 31st game he's played in for Minnesota this year. Castro getting information and instruction from Cal Irmer. Castro batting for Perry with runners at first and second, 2 outs, score tied 2-2. Well, sir? Didn't expect a tea party, did you?
Nope, not at all.
All right, we're going at it. And Castro's in there against Santiago. Ball 1. Each team has 2 runs and 7 hits. Neither team has made an error. And it's 2-0. Two balls, no strikes to the second pinch hitter, Castro. Fastball high, ball 3. Didn't miss by too much, and Santiago thought he had the strike. 3-0 now. Strike. 3-1. And that loads them up. Castro walks. Reese goes to second. Eulander to third. 2 outs, bases loaded. And the top of the order, Zoilo Versalles at the plate. He has singled, grounded out, and struck out. Batting .201 right now. That was the third walk given up by Santiago. He's walked 2 this inning. Strike. And once again, the runner at third base, Eulander, was down the line bluffing toward the plate on the windup by Santiago. Pops up the curve. Adair has it. Much more effective after he lost about 12 pounds. The first man he'll face will be George Scott, who lost about 7 pounds and became a more effective hitter. 2-2 ball game, bottom of the 6th inning. Scott is 1 for 2, a single. Long drive, deep to center, it's gone. Brother, that's the way Scott hit him last year. A line drive into the crowd in the triangle in center field, and the Red Sox lead 3-2. Ball 1 to Petrocelli.
Well, he jumped on Ron Kline before Kline had a chance to get set, and he hit that pitch deep into that triangle. Well hit by George Scott. There wasn't any doubt about it.
Sir. Rico fouls one back. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. For Scott, his 19th home run and his 81st run batted in. There's left-hander Jim Merritt, right-hander Al Worthington. Worthington, number 15. In the Twins bullpen is 3-2 Boston. Boy, that exploded this crowd. That homer by Scotty. Petrocelli's 0 for 2. The count on him is 1 ball, 2 strikes. Rico right now is hitting .259. The veteran Ron Kline, greeted harshly by Scott, has won 7 and has lost none this year. 7-0 record. 3.60 earned run average. Fly ball to shallow right. Who's got it? Oliva wants it. Tony takes it. 1 out. Reggie Smith is up. He has struck out and doubled, scored a run. Smitty hitting .252. This is Kline's 5th appearance against Boston this year. No record against them. That side saddle motion. Ball 1. And a lot of the players in the American League, of course, accused him of loading up, of throwing the wet one every now and then. But he has a lot of actions which could give you thoughts along those lines. Goes to the mouth, then rubs it off, and does a lot of other things. 2-0. On deck, Jose Tartabull, who was placed in the number 8 spot when he came on to play right field. Well hit by Reggie, deep to center. Eulander back, though, and Ted puts it away for out number 2. Boy, that was stung. Eulander on Scott's home run just gave up. He didn't even go back on it. He knew, but that time he knew he had a shot at it.
Well, Reggie hit that ball very well, but he had to reach a little bit for it, and if he would have been able to lay back and hit that ball solid like that, it could have been gone also up into the center field seat. When he had to reach for it, that took away a little of his power, although he got it on a good part of the bat.
Here's Jose Tartabull with 2 out, hitting .226, taking a strike. No home runs, 10 RBIs. Ron Kline, the third Twin pitcher. Jim Perry went 2 2/3 innings. Gave up 4 hits and 2 runs. Hey, the big changeup got him that time. 0-2 to Tartabull. And strike 3. Tartabull called out on strikes on the knuckleball, which really had the bull fooled that time. So Kline gets them after giving up the home run to Scotty, but that was it in the 6th inning. 1 run, 1 hit. And the score at the end of 6 is Boston 3, Minnesota 2.
Here we go into the 7th, and Cesar Tovar is up. Strike 1. Tovar 0 for 3. We'd like to welcome Narragansett Lager Beer, the good beer for the good hours, now to our telecast from Fenway Park. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tovar batting .267. He's flied to center, popped to Scott, and grounded out to Adair at third. Reggie Smith going back. He's got it. His average at .265. Boston 3, Minnesota 2 in the 7th. Strike 2. One ball and 2 strikes. Foul back, out of play. George Scott has asked for timeout and has gone over into the Red Sox dugout. And he's going to get some sunglasses from the Red Sox bat boy down there, Keith Rosenfeld. That's the reason for the momentary delay. There he is, and he's got him. 1-2 on Twiggy. Or, no, Killebrew. I'm still thinking about Scott after that home run, Mel. Still 1-2. Another foul. In the Red Sox bullpen, John Wyatt has started to warm up. Two and two. Santiago pouring the hard stuff to Killebrew for out number 2 in the 7th. Red Sox 3 and the Twins 2, and here comes Oliva. Oliva has singled to center, driving in the first Minnesota run, struck out in the 3rd, and fouled out to Adair in the 6th inning. His average at 288. Andrews over to Scott for the out. 150. He has come up with a courageous, tough performance in the clutch. At the plate, he's 0 for 2. Struck out in the 3rd, was called out on strikes in the 5th. Ron Kline is the 3rd Twins pitcher, preceded by Jim Kaat and Jim Perry. Versailles over to Killebrew. Santiago is out. 1 away in the 7th. Mike Andrews will be next. That was an odd play, Mel, on that last ground ball by Oliva. A grounder almost caused some trouble with the sunshine.
That's right. The ball bounced high, and you can see Andrews. He lost the ball and was trying to shade his eyes quickly and then position himself for the ground ball. And luckily, the ball did come out of the sun in time for him to make the play.
The count, ball 1 to Andrews. Kline is one of 4 active pitchers who's been used at least 200 times, both in starting and relieving. Ball 2. He's had 203 starting assignments and 380-odd games in relief. Check swing roller. Fine throw, safe. Mike Andrews checking the swing, has himself an infield hit, his 2nd of the day. With 1 out in the 7th, there is 1 on, and the batter is Jerry Adair. Hit into a double play in the 1st, grounded out to shortstop in the 3rd, singled in the 5th inning, and drove home a run. The first Red Sox run. There's a foul ball out of play. The reason you're hearing that intermittent roar from the crowd is down behind the screen. Somebody's got a balloon that's bouncing up and down. Yes, I suppose you got to do anything to relieve the tension at this ballpark today.
Well, they're having a lot of fun with it, Ken. They're knocking it around the box seat area under the screen.
The count is 1 strike. Andrews on 1st and 1 out in the 7th. Foul ball on the bunt try down to Bobby Doerr. 2 strikes to Jerry Adair. They're foul back. Merritt and Worthington continue to warm up in the bullpen. 1-2 the count.
Well, a big boo was raised there for some fan in the box seat, Ken. He put an end to the balloon. He got up with his cigarette and put it to the balloon, and of course that ended everything.
1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Kline. Safe! Zoilo Versailles. Deep to right field. Number 44. Yastrzemski has hit more home runs than any left-handed batter in the history of Boston baseball. And this one came in a clutch situation to give Boston a 6-2 edge here in the 7th.
And Ken, he got his pitch on that one. He got the pitch up around the letters, and that's the one Carl wanted to hit out of this ballpark.
They're still hollering for Yaz. Howard lines one to left. Allison is back, though, and he's got it. Bob Allison catches the fly ball by Elston Howard for the 2nd out in the 7th. Wait till you hear the roar when Yastrzemski comes out of that dugout to go back to his position. Here is Scott, who brought the crowd to its feet in the 6th inning with a home run into the center field seats, which put Boston ahead 3-2. Strike 1. Scott's batting average is now a very solid 302. But Yastrzemski today now has driven home 4 runs, has 3 base hits. Versailles gets Scott at first base to retire the side. For Boston, 3 runs. Listen to the roar for Yastrzemski. There were 2 hits in the inning, 1 error. Nobody is left on, and now, at the end of 7, it is Boston 6 and Minnesota 2. The crowd still roaring here at Fenway Park as we get ready to go into the 8th. Boston leading by a score of 6-2. Bob Allison facing Jose Santiago. Ball 1. Allison has singled to left, struck out, and in the 6th inning walked and scored a run. One ball, 1 strike. Two and 1 now to Allison. Rod Carew will be next, and Eulander is due up 3rd. Ball 3. Allison's average 259 at the moment. Ball 4. Bob Allison gets a leadoff walk in the 8th inning. And Dick Williams is coming out. That is the 3rd walk allowed by Jose Santiago. John Wyatt and Gary Bell are warming up out in the Boston bullpen. Howard, Santiago, and Williams. And he is going to make the change. It looks like it'll be Bell. Jose Santiago has pitched a whale of a ball game for the Red Sox here today. Listen to this roar. So Gary Bell will be coming in to do the pitching now for Boston. A fellow who has had a lot of experience in relief work. He was in the bullpen for 4 years with Cleveland until last year they turned him into a starter again. He's been a busy man this week. And the 30-year-old right-hander is coming on here in the 8th inning. The Red Sox lead 6-2 with Bob Allison on first base. Mel?
And Gary's coming on for his 38th appearance of the year. It'll be his 9th in relief. But as Ken mentioned, he has a lot of relief experience. While with the Cleveland Indians, he was mainly a reliever until last season.
The batter is Carew, who has lined to third, grounded out to first baseman Scott, and grounded out, been called out on strikes. Runner at first and nobody out. Carew batting .295. He's been right up there in the top 10 almost all year. Quite a story. He was with Wilson in the Carolina League a year ago. Turned out to be the all-star second baseman this year. Strike one. The right-hander is Wyatt, and the southpaw is Brett. High fly ball to right field. Tarnable into a tough sun. He's got it. Rod Carew flies to right as 1 out and 1 on in the 8th. Boston has a 6-2 edge. The Red Sox did not score over the first 4 innings of this game. The Twins scored in the first. Boston got 2 in the 5th. 1 in the 6th, and 3 in the 7th. And, of course, Carl Yastrzemski with his 44th homer. Hold on here now. Dick Williams wants to talk to Andrews, and I have an idea what it's about, Mel.
Yes, Tarnable seemed to have trouble picking up that ball when his first hit. He lost in the sun. I'm sure that Dick Williams went out to tell second baseman Mike Andrews to go back on the ball hit to right field and try to help him as much as possible, because this is a tough sun field at this moment, Ken. The sun is down low.
It is. Pitch is a ball. Here's Eulander, who has grounded out to second, tripled, and singled. Ball 2. Mentioning Yastrzemski's 44th home run, that puts him 1 ahead of Killebrew in his quest for the Triple Crown. His average is now 322. Andrews makes the play at second. Eulander grounding out to the second baseman, and Mike made a fine play. I'll tell you, that sunshine is really difficult, even on those grounders out there at second, as strange as it may seem, but you can tell it from right up here.
Yes, and noticing Mike Andrews looking into the catcher's signs, Ken, he is shading his eyes with his glove in his arm, trying to get a look at what the pitch may be so that he'll know whether to move to the hole to his right or to his left.
Here's Russ Nixon, the catcher now. Batting .238. Foul ball is out of play. 2 men out in the 8th inning. Boston ahead 6-2. Ted Eulander is on first base. And Russ Nixon is facing an old roommate, Gary Bell. They were roomies together when both of them were with the Cleveland Ball Club. Al Worthington is warming up in the Twins bullpen. One and one. Two balls, one strike, the count to Nixon. Line drive toward Yaz. He's got it. And they're down to the eighth. No runs, no hits, and one man is left on. And they came up with 2 runs. The Twins tied it up in the 6th, and in the last of the 6th, Scott hit a home run. Pitch to Petrocelli is ball 1. Leading off in the 6th to put Boston ahead 3-2, and Yastrzemski slammed a 3-run homer in the 7th, and it is 6-2 now in the 8th. Rico is 0 for 3. Ball 2. Petrocelli's average at .259. Two and one. Left-hander Jim Merritt on the mound for Minnesota. He is the 4th pitcher of the day. Jim Kaat hurt his elbow early after going 2 1/3 innings. Foul ball out of play. Jim Perry worked 2 2/3, and Kline worked 1 1/3. Three and 2 on Petrocelli. Reggie Smith on deck. Foul back here. Rico gets a walk. The leadoff man in the 8th inning, Petrocelli, draws a walk, and the batter will be Reggie Smith. Reggie has struck out, doubled to center field, into the gap actually in left center, and last time lined very hard to center field, batting .251. Petrocelli is back safely. It's quite a move that Merritt has to first base. Joylo Versailles over to second, safe at first. Smith reaches. Petrocelli forced at second. Versailles over to Carew. And the batter will be Jose Tartabull. Carter Bull batting .225. Smith back safely. Long drive to right field. Oliva back. He has room, and he makes the catch. Smith tags up and goes for second, and he is safe. Heads up running by Reggie Smith on Tarnable's long drive. He moves over to second. Well, little Jose's been whacking that ball with authority in the last few weeks, Mel.
Yes, he has, Ken. In the last 3 weeks, he's been hitting the ball hard. However, he can't get that home run that he's been driving for. He keeps coming close, but he's just a little short all the time.
Wouldn't tomorrow be a great time?
Oh, a wonderful time. Maybe with a 2-2 score to hit one and break it up. That's what he would like to do. I know he mentioned that on the last trip going into Baltimore. He said that's when he'd like to hit his first home run.
Gary Bell fouls one back, strike one. In the Twins' ninth inning, the pitcher would be due first, and then to the top of the order for Versailles and Tovar. Two strikes on Bell. Second baseman Rod Carew makes the play.
In the bottom half of the eighth inning, the Red Sox had no runs, they had no hits, no errors, and one man left. After 8 full innings, it's the Red Sox 6, the Twins 2.
Rich Rollins is going to lead off. He'll be batting for Merritt. His average is .246. He has 6 homers and has driven in 39 runs. Rollins leading off in the ninth inning. Right now, the brief pause is so that the lights can be turned on here at Fenway Park. Detroit won the first game with California 5-0. They are playing a doubleheader today at Tiger Stadium, and they will play another doubleheader tomorrow. Rollins facing Bell. Foul ball to Adair. Wyatt and Brett are warming up again for Boston. The count is 1 strike. This is the ninth inning. The Red Sox are leading 6-2. Rollins fouls it out of play. 2 strikes. One and 2 the count. Two and 2. It's a full count to Rollins. 3 and 2 to Rich Rollins, leading off in the 9th inning for the Minnesota Twins. Boston with 6 runs, 10 hits, and no errors. Minnesota 2, 7, and 1. Jerry Adair. 1 out in the 9th. Next, Zoilo Versailles. Versailles has singled. That came in the 1st inning when he scored the first Twins run. He has grounded out to short, struck out, and popped to 3rd. The 2nd Twins run came in the 6th inning on a pair of base hits. Foul ball, strike 1. Versailles was driven home by Oliva. Rich Reese had the pinch single to left that drove home Allison with the 2nd run. And for Boston, Carl Yastrzemski has driven in 4 runs with a homer, and Scott has a solo blast. Foul to the screen. Strike 2.
Bill.
1 ball, 2 strikes now. Tomorrow afternoon in the final game, it will be Lonborg and Chance. Chance has won 20 and lost 13. Two and 2. And Lonborg has won 21 and lost 9. Smith is calling. 2 out in the 9th. The batter, Tovar. He has flied to center. Popped to Scott. Grounded to Adair at 3rd and flied deep to Smith in center field. As Reggie made a fine running catch on him in the 7th. I'm sure you're aware of all the contingencies of the pennant race at this time. Fly ball to left field. Yastrzemski running hard. Can't get there in time. Tovar is digging for a double, and he is in at second base. With 2 out of the 9th inning. Boston ahead 6-2. Tovar bloops a double down into the left field corner. The batter is Killebrew. He has walked, doubled, been called out on strikes, struck out swinging. Batting .265. Ball 1. Wyatt and Brett are in the Red Sox bullpen, but they're doing more watching than throwing right now. Ball 2. Dick Williams is coming out of the Red Sox dugout. There's the Twins dugout. Killebrew is walking back over toward Oliva by the on-deck circle. Two balls and no strikes to count. Foul back out of play. 2-1. Two balls, one strike. Two and two. They give Killebrew the whole right field corner as Smith is well over into left center and Tarnable is way over in right center field. Fly ball, it may be foul. Yastrzemski down in the corner. It's out of reach. Up in the crowd. 2-2. And there's one of the many Red Sox signs that we've seen around, not only this ballpark, but others over the past couple of months. Another foul ball by Harmon Killebrew. Still 2-2. Well stroked to left field, and this one is going to be gone. Harmon Killebrew has hit a home run, and that ties him with Yastrzemski at 44 and makes the score 6-4 in favor of the Red Sox.
Tovar's bloop single gave Killebrew a chance to come to the plate, and he banged out his 44th home run of the year to even him with Carl Yastrzemski. There are 2 men out. The Red Sox lead by a score of 6-4, and the batter is Oliva. He had a single on the first pitch, his first time up, to drive home the first Minnesota run. Since then, he has struck out swinging, fouled to third, and grounded out to second. Line drive to Adair, and that's all. Adair robs him of a base hit with a great catch of a line drive down there at third base. And the Red Sox have beaten the Minnesota Twins by a score of 6-4. And there you see the ball players heading into the Red Sox dugout as a crowd of 32,909 saw the Red Sox come from behind to come up with a very big victory here today. A victory that they had to have in order to stay alive in this pennant race.